Okay, this is the Excel budget file. We only have one file in chapter 4, and this is the one. So, first going to look at this. This is different mandatory spending. This means it's mandated by law, and these are the numbers. How much was spent projected in 2019. This is in billions of dollars. So the first question is $1046.5 billion. How much money is that? That's that first question here. How much money was projected to be spent on Social Security in 2019? It's important to work with this. So there's how many billion, which is right here. And when it says billion, that's the same as times 10 to the ninth power. In other words, you'd have to add 9 zeros or move the decimal 9 place. Actually, not 8 zeros because you got to move it once here. That's the same thing as 1.046.5 trillion, which is that raised to times 10 to the 12. That times 10 raised to the 12th power. So anytime it says like thousands, it's 10 to the third, millions, billions, trillions, that's what's going on there. So that's over $1 trillion, 8,000 billion. I'm only going to do a few of these, but there's 330 million people in the United States. Assuming that many people, how much is this amount of money, which is right here, per person? Per capita means per person. So you want to pause this and think about that, and I'll write out the answer. And so there's how we get the answer. We take it. Notice what it says. How much per person? So that's how much, and that's how many people. You divide it, you're going to get a ratio, right? Dollars per person. Dollars per person. So it's $3,171.21 per person. Being able to handle these things, like understanding how to make this into something you can use in your calculator. And this is the basic rule here, 36912. So the last one I'm going to do before I switch over to an actual Excel file is this one. And it says assume 15% of the population is over 65. How much is this per elderly person? Well, there's the whole population. So I want to find 15% of that population. I'm actually going to do it in two ways. The first way I'm going to do it is just, I'm actually going to use a proportion. So I'm going to set this up as a proportion. You might want to pause and see if you can do it. It's going to be part over whole equals the part over the whole. And you can use this for many problems in this chapter. And I'll set the proportion up. And I'll come back. You might want to pause it and see if you can do it. Okay, so I set this proportion up, part to whole, part to whole. So that 15%, that's the ratio. 15 over 100. And what it says, 15% of the population is over 65. So that 50%, 15 represents people over 65, and then 100 represents total people. So I want that to be equal to how many people are actually over 65 if we know that there's 330 million people. Cross multiply and divide, and we get 49,500,000 people over 65. That goes here, right? So now we know we spent this much money on Social Security, and we know that there's this many people over 65. So we're trying to find how much is this per elderly person. So you might want to pause it and think about it, and I'm going to put a the work here. And so we get dollars per person over 65, divide it, and we get $21,000 and some change. That should be a comma. 21,000 and some change per person over 65. Now, the point of this is being able to handle numbers when you see them that are like 330 million. Be able to translate that. So that's the idea. The problem's not hard. It's just translation. You got to be careful. Okay, so here is the only Excel file in Chapter 4. And this is called budgets. These are mandatory budgets. These are the main ones, and this is thousands of other ones. That means it's mandated by law. And the first thing they want you to do here is compute the subtotals and the totals. So the subtotal for all the mandatory spending is simply going to be the sum of these. And this is discretionary spending, which means that this is all spending here. Outlays are all expenditures. So this is just going to be the sum of these two. You can put them here. The interest is just only one thing, and that's there. So that's a subtotal for that. Now, I want to talk about the percent of the subtotals here and here. And they want this subtotal 3 decimal places here, then a percentage here. So for the subtotal of Social Security, it's Social Security divided by that subtotal, which I'm going to lock because I'm going to drag it down. And they want 3 decimal places. I'll drag that down. And then here they want this as a percentage. And the percentage, 1 decimal place. All right, so you're going to do the same thing for here, and you're going to do the same thing for the receipts. That's money coming into the government, right? Decimal percentage. Now here they want the totals for, where's the totals? Totals here, that's for all expenditures, right? So the total would be this, this, and this. These are all the expenditures. So I better put this one in anyhow. And the total here is going to be, well, actually, you're probably better off doing this plus this plus this. So that's a total of all expenditures. Now what I'm going to do here is a decimal of what part of this is all the expenditures and then what percentage. So this 38.2% just means of all the mandatory spending, 38% of it goes to Social Security. This here is going to mean of all of the money that's spent on what part, what percentage of all the money spent right here is Social Security. And that'll lock too. And they want 3 decimals there. And that's that with a percentage. I don't know why it's doing that. one decimal place. And you'll do the same thing for discretionary spending and the same thing for interest, right? So what does this mean? Once again, for Medicare, 22.8% of all of the mandatory spending went to Medicare. 14.2% of all the spending went to Medicare. So it's the difference between a part to part and a part to total. And this is done the same way.